another podcast, or should I say my first podcast? This is my first podcast, but it's definitely not my last podcast. So today we're going to be discussing about why do youths join to gangs. It's a really important topic. Me personally, I went through it, so I kind of understand it a little bit differently to most people. But today we're going to be talking about what makes someone want to join a gang. Many reasons, and many people will come up with solutions and what made this person do this and what made this person do that. But I just want to give you some real insight on what a gang actually is. So when I was growing up, me personally, friends that came from the same area, that came from the same kind of circumstances, that I just thought, you know what, let's just chill together. So it started off us as little boys just chilling together. So, we'll do little silly things like, knock down ginger, probably cuss crackheads, because there's a lot of crackheads in the hood, everybody knows that. Just little kid things that kids do. This is all we did when we was younger. But as we started to get older, a little bit more organized, because, I remember when I was 13, 14, everyone started smoking. That was the thing. Everyone was burning weed. So, like, for me personally, growing up, and everybody smoking weed. I didn't really smoke weed like that, if I'm honest, because my dad used to smoke weed and I wasn't really about it like that, if I'm honest. He never had any role models. So our role models were the elders. But the elders didn't really leave us a guideline of how to act or how to be. As a matter of fact, I can remember one of the elders actually manipulating me into selling weed. He said, all your friends are smoking weed. You don't smoke weed. Why don't you start shotting weed for me and start getting money? I was about 13, 14 these times. I think I was 14. I was like 14. And I was like, yeah, why not? And I remember he took me into his house. And I think this is the first time I ever saw a gun, actually. This is the first time I ever saw a gun. He took me into his house. He said, he's going to give me this for this, and I'm going to give him back this, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, cool, no problem. Because all my friends smoked weed. I thought, yeah, I could sell crime to get the money to buy weed, because most of us came from poverty. Single parent homes, no father. Father does not even exist. Dad doesn't even exist. So it's a little bit. So anyway, this older took me in his yard, gave me the weed, and then one day he's like, yeah, I got a gun. Anyone ramps with you, come talk to me, and man, I'll do him. And I was like, yeah. And when I left, I was thinking, did he try to intimidate me? I remember I said this to myself, because the way I was rolling at that time, I had a lot of friends, and all my friends were on the road. So I was like, this guy tried to intimidate me, but he never intimidated me. I wanted to rob him. So in my mind, I was like, yeah. I saw him put it in the safe, and I was like, So that's where he puts his thing. So I was like, cool. So I went back to the block with my friends, and that's when I started to sell weed, and then everyone started to want to support that habit. And the only way to support that habit was to do crime. And at that time, mobile phone crime was a big thing, like robbing phones and all that. You can get money if you're robbing phones and stuff like that. So all my friends were into the robbing phone game, basically, and robbing people. We grew up in that environment of just being friends. And because we spent so much time together through the day, through the night, we became united. And that united meant that anybody that tried to oppose us in this area or anywhere else, they'd be annihilated. And I remember the day that it's like a momentous day in my life when me and my friend, we went to a place in my area called Chalice, and it was fireworks time. And we went there with bare fireworks. I think we linked up with the Norwood boys because at that time, Norwood, they had a fireworks fight and they came down to fireworks fight us. But we had a dumb little fight, and then we just linked up and said we're going to Chalice. So we went down there and was just causing mayhem that day. And that day we left, I remember me and my brethren was going through the alleyway, and we said, yeah, we're the sickest. And that's how the gang name even came up, DSK, the sickest kids. So that's how our gang name started. It weren't we sat there and said, what are we going to call our gang today? And this is what I'm trying to say. Stop. I know people try to overanalyze this stuff. It's really basic stuff. We done it like that. That's how we became a gang. And from there, everything else started to happen. You know what I'm saying? We started to graffiti. I don't know if you know about graffiti. We used to write our tags everywhere. And everyone started to get names for themselves. You know what I'm saying? I used to call myself this. My friend used to call himself that. He used to call himself that. And that's how our gang kind of started, if I'm honest with you. And then I'd go to school and then I'd have arguments with people and I'd be like, are you stupid? Watch then, bad man. I'm going to bring my brethren down. So I'd say, all right, cool, watch. So I'd tell my brethren to come down now. So when my brethren come down, everyone knew, raw, that's them youths. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it kind of started. Not kind of, that's how it did start.